Mining billionaire Andrew Forrest is back in the country after an overseas trip, spruiking green hydrogen, including his company focused on the clean energy source Fortescue Future Industries. And we can bring in Mr Forrest now, who is in Sydney. But importantly, I want to talk about mining and climate change in a moment as the ferry heralds your interview, Andrew Forrest. But you are in Sydney co-announcing a very important initiative to help fight childhood cancers.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. It's Australia's first crack, particularly for paediatric cancer for kids, to really bring clinical care, the greatest science, hospital care, all under the one roof. So the discoveries which we make, and I really kind of feel that science is now really getting on our side to defeat cancer, to stop it being non-fatal. The problem is the translation of that great science to saving a child. We're bringing that under the one roof. It's a massive investment, and look, I'm just delighted that we can play a small part in it.
Okay, so tell us how this centre is going to work and what particular cancers will it be focusing on?
We'll be really concentrating on children. Believe it or not, there's very different type of cancers for kids as there are for adults. The loss of a child, I mean, is just an incalculable tragedy, Michael. And when you know that the science is right on the edge of being able to make cancer non-fatal, you know, then we've got to get after it hard. The really difficult cancers like brain cancer, etc., we're bringing down the fatality ratio here, and we've just got to keep on bringing it down until eventually, and I'm hoping, Michael, in our generation, the one you and I are kicking around in, we can make cancer non-fatal, and that's what this huge comprehensive cancer centre for kids is going to have a real crack at.
Okay, so you believe, and you're obviously looking at the science and involved in this space quite heavily, we are that close, possibly within decades, even sooner ideally, of making cancer non-fatal?
Look, Michael, that's what I firmly believe in. That's what I'm fighting for. That's why we're backing the centre heavily, and I'm really thinking, listen, our understanding of how cells work, the kind of analog, you know, the analog part of a cell, you've got the digital, which is all the DNA, we understand that stuff, but there's the kind of old-fashioned analog, which influences everything inside a cell. We're starting to really understand that, and that's where, you know, things like aging and cancer and the like are coming from. When that starts to break down, we start to reverse that around where it shouldn't be in our beautiful children, and then we've got a crack, we've got a line of sight at last to making cancers non-fatal. Now, we've got a huge amount of work we have to do, but I'm pushing to get this done in decades, not in centuries. We're losing our kids all over the world, but tragically most here in Australia. Let's do everything we can to remove that tragedy from our society, from our families.
Moving to one of your other passions, and that's, as we